to be able to be an excellent attacking midfielder, you have to have an outstanding vision. When I say vision, I don't only mean that your passes or your through balls. You're gonna need to be at the right place at the right time, creating spaces, finding those gaps to receive the ball. Basically, everything you need to do to create the game. That's why I'm gonna separate the vision as phases, where the phase 1 will be before you receive the ball, and then the phase 2 will be after you receive the ball. If you wanna be a good attacking midfielder, you have to read the game. And this is the part of having a good vision, where you're gonna need to read the game on and off the ball. Off the ball, you're gonna need to know exactly where to be, and on the ball, you're gonna need to know exactly who to play the ball to. Because ideally, a good attacking midfielder will always want to receive the ball facing the opposition's net, not your own net, because we are not physically as strong as some other positions. So you're gonna need to have the ball when you are not under pressure, and you're gonna need to turn when you are not under pressure. And to be able to do this, you have to read the game well, so you take yourself to spaces to actually receive the ball when you're not under pressure. I highly recommend you watching one of the modern attacking midfielder, Florian Wirtz, where he does this extremely well. Because he's physically not very strong, he will put himself into spaces where he can easily receive the ball and turn with the ball and cause problems in the opposition's net. And this is exactly what I mean when I say phase 1. You need to be going to these spaces, most likely the wide spaces of the pitch, to receive the ball and actually distribute the game. If your phase 1 is not good, your phase 2 will automatically not be good, because you didn't receive the ball at the right place, so you're not going to be able to create the game very well to actually cause problems. You have to really master the phase 1 to be able to be excellent at phase 2, which is actually what you do after you receive the ball, to distribute, who you're going to distribute, and where did you receive the ball, and what kind of troubles you can cause in the opposition's end. To be able to improve your vision, phase 1 and 2, you have to be shoulder checking all the time. You have to be studying every position, including the opposition, what their fullbacks does, what their central midfielders does, what your strikers does. So what kind of runs are they making, and where do you need to be to actually receive the ball, and what kind of through balls you need to be sending. Understanding your teammates and knowing their moves is gonna be easy way for you to cheat a little bit, where you're not gonna really need to use your vision, but you're gonna be memorizing their moves sometimes, and you're just gonna be sending those through balls, knowing your teammates, knowing your striker or your wingers, and actually putting them in the dangerous territories. Number 2 is your first touch. You have to have amazing first touch to be able to play comfortably as an attacking midfielder. Even let's say you have excellent vision, if you don't have a good first touch, when you're receiving the ball, you're not gonna be comfortably set yourself for your next move. And that's what first touch is about, setting yourself up for the next move. As an attacking midfielder, you are the orchestrator of the game. You are the maestro. So your striker, your central midfielder, your winger will always look to pass you first, because you are the one that can create and can actually change the way the game goes. So that's why you're gonna be receiving the ball more than any other position on the pitch, and your first touch has to be excellent. And this is why I said in the first tip, which was the vision, that you have to observe these spaces to put yourself in a space where you can turn with your first touch. Because if you're under so much pressure when you're receiving the ball, your first touch will have to be just control the ball, have the opposition in your back, and release it to somebody closer to you. But you don't really want this as an attacking midfielder, where you're gonna need to be at the right place where there is not as much pressure, and you can turn with your first touch and distribute the game. And again, a great example, Florian Wirtz, that does this really well, where he puts himself into those spaces where there is not as much pressure, so he can turn and actually go forward with the attack. I've already made many videos on how you can improve your first touch. Simply an easy way to improve your first touch is to make your practices, whether it's your friend or at the trainings, as game-like possible, which means sending each other challenging balls, hard balls, just like the games, where the ball is going to be bouncing sometimes and you're going to stop the ball, or sometimes turn with the ball using the momentum of the ball. And that's why it's significantly important to send each other those challenging balls. Make it as game-like possible. Don't just send those nice and easy passes to each other. Give yourself those challenging balls, and maybe if you have extra friend, that you can put pressure on yourself by your friend, and you can try to turn around your friend or stop the ball in front and release it. This is the only way that you're gonna be able to improve your game first touch, because practices, playing with your friends could be easier. Game is different. As soon as you step up on the pitch, it's gonna be much harder for you to turn with your first touch. Number 3 is obviously your creativity. You're gonna need to pull the rabbit out of your hat. So you're gonna have to do different things that not everybody can do. Otherwise, you shouldn't be playing attacking midfielder. You're gonna need to find different solutions for different moments of the game, where sometimes you're gonna play simple, where sometimes you're gonna send through balls, or switch the game to the other side and maybe send your winger up or send your central midfielder up where you're holding it back and distributing the game from a further back where your central midfielder is almost. Basically, as an attacking midfielder, you can't make the game boring. You gotta make the game exciting. And that's basically your job when you think about it. You just gotta make things happen on the pitch. You're gonna need to anticipate your teammates' movements as well as the opposition's movement. And the easier way to figure this out is to actually put yourself in the opposition's shoes. Let's say you're playing against a central defensive midfielder, you're gonna need to know where do they prioritize on the pitch, where are they gonna cover, or where the fullback covers. When you're passing those through balls to your winger, you just think the exactly opposite of what the opposition is thinking. And that's the whole idea about creativity. You just gotta be unpredictable with your moves as an attacking midfielder. And that's simply what coaches looking for when they're analyzing the opposition. The coaches are looking and watching the opposition and thinking, where are they the strongest? So if the opposition likes to close the central channels and they are really good at winning the ball in the central areas, your coach will want to avoid those spaces. Your coach will want to go outside to the wide side of the field. That's exactly how you need to be thinking when it comes to playing the attacking midfielder position. You're gonna need to do the exactly opposite of a central defensive midfielder would do against you. A